Welcome, mortal souls, to Strange Darkness Radio. Within the echoes of our hosts' haunting voices, terror weaves through the airwaves like a malevolent symphony. I am Benson, your spectral guide, leading you into the uncharted realms of the macabre. Brace yourself for a descent into a paranormal abyss with hosts Bobby Washington, Carolyn Grey, and Amy Tydeman. They traverse through tales that linger in the shadows, spectral apparitions, haunted domains, cryptids, and otherworldly encounters. Embrace the darkness, extinguish the lights, steel your nerves for a bone-chilling night into the heart of the unknown. It's time for Strange Darkness Radio.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, and I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, can you feel it coming in the air tonight?
All right, welcome back to Strange Darkness Radio. This is part 2 with our special guest, Rothy. I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of her if you listened to the first show. If not, please go back and listen to the first show. Rothy, how's it going?
Going really, really well. Thank you again for having me. Had a lot of fun last time.
Yeah, thanks for coming back.
For sure.
All right, everyone good for the night? As we start
Fantastic.
this interesting portion of the show, which Rothy will read Carolyn's and Amy's numbers, and she might get into a little bit of mine. So we'll see how the night goes. But also, I want to let you guys know that Rothy is going to be on the show moving forward. She's going to be on once a month. If it's more, if she graces us with her presence any more than that, that would be awesome. But she's going to have her own show, not segment, but actual show to where she comes on. She reads numbers, whether it's for you guys, whether she's reading future predictions, whether just what's ever, on her mind or what's ever pissing her off. She's going to be doing her thing, and it will be a monthly show. So make sure you guys look out for it. And just to give you guys, a little bit more behind the scenes, we're going to go ahead and play her introduction, and then we're just going to get straight into it.
Step into the mysterious world of Strange Darkness Radio with Numbers by Rothy. Rothy unlocks puzzles and codes interlocked in the Matrix. She possesses the unique ability to see bridges that transcend the veil, bridging the gap between worlds, past and present. Delve into the hidden patterns and secrets woven into the fabric of existence as Rothy unravels the threads that connect our reality. Open your mind and heart to the intriguing realm of numerology with Rothy. Whether it's readings, future predictions, or exploring love, romance, and finance, Rothy unveils the profound mysteries encoded in numbers on this transcendent journey. Welcome to a captivating exploration of numerology with Rothy on Strange Darkness Radio.
Yay!
Love it. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Like I said, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for, gracing us with your presence on a monthly basis. And I can't wait to see where we go with this joint effort, on the show.
For sure. I'm definitely honored to be a part of the team here and contribute as much as possible. I think that you guys are just such my vibe tribe, and we're just going to have a ton of fun doing this. I think that you, from the first episode that we did, I saw how very inquisitive all of you were, and asking very, very specific, detailed questions and showing that interest with it. So that's truly my passion, is to help others understand so you can read it with me. And my favorite thing in the world is getting DMs or getting messages from my followers who are like, "Hey, I just saw this today," or "Can you help me pick out we're getting married in September. Which Sunday is the best?" Like that sort of a thing,
Oh,
to
I
where
love that.
yeah, it's so sweet. It's so incredibly heartwarming to me and encouraging to me, because I'm seeing the results of helping people, through the
Mhm.
numbers. So I love it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an incredible adventure. There are so many questions I actually have for you that I'm going to space out over time, whether it's conspiracy theories, whether it's aliens, what do you
Right.
believe? But don't answer right now. But all the
We'll get
things
into it.
that, yes, from the demonic standpoint, all the possessions that are
Mhm.
happening, people hurting other people saying they were possessed. There are just so many things with
Ooh,
numbers and your abilities that we can get into as we go on forward, with the show. So yeah, it's
love
gonna
it.
be great.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That sort of stuff is like, again, just great alignment with this team and Strange Darkness, because you guys get into the meat of the stuff that I really like to talk about. It is all connected. It's not only all connected to numbers, it's also very spiritual and very energetic. We are, the Bible says we battle not against a flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in high places. And regardless of if you're Buddhist or if you're even atheist, what have you, we discuss before everything is energy. And what's another term for energy on the ghost shows? Spirits. So
Yeah,
spirit, it's energy. So we need to understand who we are as spirit energy, as souls who are having a human experience, and how that translates into our simulation and other areas of our experience, as well as what happens afterwards. We have such an incredible story. I don't know when we'll talk about it, but I keep talking about Big Daddy and the 111 markers.
yes,
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that's just one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard of. And I experienced it myself in front of my family. And my father literally showed himself to my entire family less than 24 hours after his funeral when I asked him to show me signs. And so he's helping me to get this message out there to the world of like, hey, we are so much more than what we were taught that we were, and God is so much more than what we were taught that God was.
mm,
So that's the whole point. Once we can figure out that, you know what, I actually do have abilities, and I do have a birthright to be free, and I do have a
yeah,
birthright to have victory over these things, and I do not have to be, manipulated or controlled, or I can do certain things to maintain my health and heal myself from the damage, and so on and so forth. It just goes in every which direction. So our goal is to heal humanity from the numbers down, so to speak.
yeah, perfect, perfect.
I love the way you put that, just all of it about, the simulation and spirit and energy. And I resonate a lot with that. And I feel like probably a lot of our listeners also, and you just put it in a really good way. I usually find it hard to, put these kinds of things into words and discuss them. So I just love the way you put that. It's really good.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And just for our listeners, now people
Sure.
who follow you and know about you, they know why. Two things: you will look at numbers, then you will say a phrase or a word or words. And
Uh-huh.
so I just want everyone can you tell them a little bit about that? Meaning when you look and you see a certain set of numbers, then you'll say Big Daddy, just so they don't think you're calling me Big Daddy or the
Yeah.
only because when I was editing the show, and I was like, people will probably not know really what's happening
Yeah.
here.
Right.
At
Right.
least
They're
our
gonna be like,
audience
Big
until
Daddy, which
until
high
yeah
place are we on?
until
Yeah. Okay.
you're on, yeah. But yeah, so let them know what that's
Great
about.
darkness. Okay. So Big Daddy's kind of like a keyword for me in ways, but Big Daddy is my father right there. That's him,
Mhm.
Michael Rothblatt,
Mhm.
who passed away on September 7th of 2021. He was he lived in the corner of Tucson in the desert, and he was supposed to be traveling. He was a very, very busy, active man. He had just come from a hunting trip with my uncles, my cousins, and so we thought everything was fine. I hadn't heard from him in a few days. We did a wellness check through the sheriff's department, and they found him on the 13th.
Oh,
So
wow.
Oh my
Sorry to
God.
hear that.
yeah, it was a
So
little
sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a surprise to everybody, and obviously very, very tragic. But what happened, and I'll go into the details of this sometime in full. Number one, because it's always, I will likely shed several tears, and so I'm just going to be straight up. That's my dad. It's my best friend, you
Yeah.
know. So
Oh, for sure.
when that time comes, just be prepared. I'm a
Yeah.
little bit of an empath like that, but also it's a pretty in-depth story. And you know, Bobby, we can work together on maybe getting you some of the footage and stuff like that that you can share with the viewers.
Okay.
Social media, because just seeing the actual footage that I captured of this moment is absolutely incredible of my dad showing and knowing the backstory and how incredible it is. Everybody who hears it is like goosebumps immediately, and they see it put together through different timelines, and it's a really great and incredible story. But the reason that I keep talking about Big Daddy is because he does help me with all of this, right?
Yeah.
And he's going through this experience with me as energy because, you know, this is going to sound kind of weird, and I would never wish anything. It's almost as if it was meant to be. He did pass so that he could help me in other ways. And I
Yeah.
hate to say it that way because I want my dad back, but I have him in other ways now. And he makes sure that he lets me know. And it took me a while. And the reason 111 is his marker is because this whole story had to do with the Cowboys game. The reason I'm a Cowboys fan is Big Daddy.
Yeah.
It was a Cowboys game, the only game that we ever attended together at the AT&T Stadium here. He had been to plenty throughout his life. I had been to plenty myself, but never together. And so this date was on 11/10 of 2019. We played the Vikings. We lost to the Vikings, but and then the next day was 11/11. So two very, very big numbers in numerology, but there was such incredible happenings that happened from the 10th to the 11th that day, and multiple things that were caught on video that come into the story, come and play, you know, into play a little bit later. And so the 111 is looking at November 10th, and that was the date that we went to that game. So, and it took me over a year of seeing the 111 like 4 to 8 times a day, and I'm like, what is this? Is people chasing me, you know, all of that. No, it was my dad saying hello and reminding me of November 10th when we went to that game, and to always remember that, because when he showed himself the day after his funeral, it is in reference to that game. So that's how it ties in together. And there's people who have never met me and who are skeptics that hear the story are like blown away by it. So my dad was bigger than life, 6'9", and just like that person that everybody loved. He was Big Daddy. Everybody loved him, you know. So, but yeah, he's a part of this. He's with us, and we'll get to know a little bit more about him a little bit later.
Awesome.
But the numbers that you're speaking of, that's just a little bit of that one with the 111 for me specifically, because that, as we had mentioned before, 111 as a general number comes with a lot of warning and threat, you know, energy to it. So the fact that it's to me, it's a different message. I know that, you know, in episode 1, I had seen 11/22, and you had asked about that. Okay, well, what does that mean? And I explained it to you.
Yeah.
So these sort of things are going to mean different things to different people a lot of times. And that's why it's important for everybody to kind of get to know a little bit of what the numbers are, because I get the most common comment or question that I get is, I see this number all the time. What does it mean, Rothy? Like, what does this number mean? And I'm like, I can't tell you that, because you have to know like I can do a reading for you, and maybe that message will come through, and sometimes they do come through like that. But just being asked that, most of the time I'm not going to know, because it's going to be a personal message to you from energy, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's important, because everybody can't have their own personal numerologist. There's not a lot of us out there, you know? So
Yeah.
it's
At least
important
ones
to
that are legit, anyways.
right,
Mhm.
you know. Um, so that's why I'm so passionate about teaching other people to learn it, because then you can continue to grow and know more, and then once you start to, like I said, kind of become friends with them in a little bit of a way, which is weird, but once you start to get to know them like that, they're going to talk to you. They're going to be like, oh, okay, like it's going to just click. I promise you.
I think this is another one of the lost languages that we used to do and have, and everyone was taught as a child to have this ability
Yes.
to look and to read all these things that now we don't really pay attention to or take for granted until there are things that come up and we question and ask and look for answers for
Right.
so yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's totally true. It's, I believe, one of the first languages. It probably was the first language, sacred language, because even in creation, that all boils down to numerology. So
Yeah. Yep. All right. So shall we venture into the realm of readings or numerology readings for Carolyn or whomever you want to
for
pick
sure,
first.
for sure. Yeah. Well, let's start out with Miss Carolyn. I have her page 1. Um, So I know that we talked a little bit about certain numbers in episode 1. We talked about the basis of how everybody has 5 placements in their chart, in their numerology chart. And that's no matter what. You have your life path and your birth date, which are derived from the actual date of your birth. And then your expression, personality, and heart's desire are derived from the spelling of your full name, right? So if somebody has like a married name, with Amy, we have like a chart and a half, or almost 2 charts, because we did her maiden and we did her married. So there's going to be 2 different energies that are showing, right? So if somebody has, like, I could literally do a strange darkness decode and find out what the frequency and the vibration of that is to some degree.
Oh, you
That's
should do
interesting.
that.
Yeah, I think we should do that for sure.
For sure,
Add
yeah.
it to the list.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It's pretty cool, because you'll see it out there. We had talked about elites using numerology before in episode 1, and one of there's a couple of people that I wanted to mention that I forgot to. I know we recently, I don't know if you all saw, Jelly Roll and Bunny XO went to Congress.
No.
No, for what?
So on January 11th, because Bunny XO is just brilliant and she knows what's up with the numbers, she brought her man into Congress.
Oh.
Jelly Roll, like the biggest star on the planet right now, like she took him into Congress so that they could introduce legislation with regards to fentanyl deaths and stuff like that, because he's got so many of his followers and fans that come up to him in his shows and are like, this happened to my child and they were a fan of yours. And it's become something that's like really, really huge in their hearts and in their lives to do this. I had done, just on my TikTok, my social media, I did 3 quick 10-minute compatibility readings for Jelly Roll and Bunny XO. And I was not a fan of theirs at the time. It's a long story how it came to be, but I learned in that reading that literally their whole, that Save Me, Jelly Roll Save Me, that song Save Me, and that whole vibration essence, that is their love story. And I came to learn through those readings, which Bunny XO liked all 3 and commented on all 3, amazingly enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she told me
That's
spot
awesome.
on. So that was amazing. And I know she knows. I can just tell by the way, how she is. She gets the number. She gets energy.
Yeah.
And she's a good one. She's a good one.
Yeah.
Because we see that now. She went on 111 on January 11th, which is an 1111 in numerology. She went to Congress. She could have picked any other day, I'm sure. They went on the 11th, which was an amplified master, as we talked a little bit about yesterday. That means that they went in there with quadruple the impact of that leadership number one. And then they amplified it twice with that 11, which
Why
was brilliant.
why is January 11th and 11/11? Isn't that 111?
It's 111 date, yes. But remember, we talked about the overall energy.
Oh,
of
like when
the
you
day.
add up everything. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yes. So it's actually 111 on 111. If I think, we got the eights. No, it's okay. So 2024 is 8. That's an 8. Then you have 11, so 9, 10, and then you have January, so that's 11. It's an overall 11.
Got you. Okay.
And the daily 11, so it was an 11/11.
So
And
is that a good day for anybody to go accomplish something, or was that specific to what they were trying to do? Oh,
No.
so 111 or 11/11 is a good day for anybody.
Yes.
Okay, so keep that in mind, people.
And what's really cool about this, because it actually includes both of them. It includes the 11/11 and the 111, because it was
Right.
111. So
Right.
it was Jelly Roll and Bunny coming out and with that whole amplified stance on that. They're coming with that energy, the amplified energy, that hard-hitting energy. And although it's for good, they're coming in on the 111, which means be warned, we are coming. That's what that 111 is, right? It's that warning, it's that threat, but it's a threat for good. Watch out, fentanyl, watch out, drug dealers, watch out, criminals who are killing our people with this drug.
Yeah. Watch out, big pharma.
Exactly.
So was it that they are into numerology and they knew to go on this date, or it just happened to be that way? And
so my personal thing is that I don't believe for 1 second that I believe that Bunny knows about numerology. I don't know if Jelly Roll does, but I believe that Bunny works with energy.
Especially because she liked your posts, right? And she obviously follows your numerology channel.
Well,
she
I don't
probably
even think
knows.
she follows me, but she did like it. And
okay.
She was sent the video by a friend of mine who had sang for Jelly Roll. And I did their compatibility chart afterwards as my first episode of the whole podcast. So it was, and that was almost like a repeat of the Jelly Roll and Bunny XO. Incredible compatibility numerology readings. And I would encourage everybody to go watch them there.
I just want to say Jelly Roll got really lucky. So I don't know, whatever numbers he's mixing up there, he got really lucky.
Why? But what do you mean?
I was looking
Have
at
you seen Bunny XO?
With her?
Oh no, I don't know what she looks like.
Is it crazy that I don't know who these people are?
Okay, I didn't either.
He's like a country rap pop singer.
He's the biggest artist on the planet right now. He
is. Okay, I'm embarrassed.
No, it's okay. I didn't know who he was either. The only reason I knew about him was because my friend had just been to a concert here in Dallas for him. And then my other friend sang at his after party when he won the CMA award back in November, I believe. So she actually sang for him. Okay, and so that's the only reason I knew about that. And I started watching podcasts on YouTube, different types of podcasts, and thinking about starting mine and getting the confirmations of that I need to start doing this. So I started watching podcasts, and they are all over. They've got the Dumb Blonde podcast, which is Bunny's podcast. And then they're all over other people's podcasts too.
So Bunny XO, she's a podcaster, or who is she?
Bunny XO is a former high-class escort.
Doom, doom, doom.
Oh.
And they are open about it. They don't care.
Oh.
And Jelly Roll and her are married, right? Or they're together.
They're married. Full married. Wow. She's gorgeous. She looks like just swingers. Like the pinup Barbie. Like she's insanely beautiful. And she has been super successful in her business life. And it's because she's just got a great head on her shoulders, and she's tapped into energy very, very well.
Okay.
And her thing is she wants to save the world. She's a high 9. And so she's using her 922, which is the frequency of ethic love, and that I learned through doing their charts. And then she's also using the building of her family to help save people, which is just, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
It's a
pretty
saving
amazing how you're able to take those numbers and actually know about the person without knowing the person. And then you can see it in their actual acts that,
Yeah.
oh, I'm spot on. So that, to me, that's just incredible. So,
Yeah. Confirmations are amazing. But
exactly.
but yeah, so anyways, just a few of those questions or notes that I wanted to
That
make.
was you guys' education on Jelly Roll and Bunny. Just go check
Well,
out.
thank
Go
you
check them
for
both out if you haven't.
enlightening me. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you need to get some Bunny in your life. Amy.
Sorry, I'm
I
not.
know.
I'm not that cool, so
Or
I'm
you need
not
to get
up
some
on
Jelly
like
Roll in your life, actually.
who's
Pop
in
culture.
And, yeah, I'm a little
Me
out
neither.
of that.
Me neither, honey. It is okay. All right. So we talked a little bit about the 5 placements. We talked about any of your placements can be one of 12 digits, either the cardinals 1 through 9, or one of the masters 11, 22, and 33. Right. And so I know we talked a little bit about certain numbers, but we're going to go into depth into them. So our life path for Miss Carolyn is our amazing 8. And I know this was one of the big numbers we talked about before. In any of my social media, even if it doesn't have an 8 in it, I'm usually talking about the 8. The reason being is because the 8 is the most powerful number of the cardinals.
Wow.
I liken it to a master as far as its ability. It is power, money, karma, risk, resilience. It is alchemy, manifestation, magic. It is it's risk and reward. It's beauty and influence, but it's also ego and it's trauma.
Yeah.
So 8s are kind of like the bumpers of the world for trauma. 8s are also like the Dawn soap of the world for oil spills. We absorb the trauma, right? And 8s have, depending on their charts, they have certain choices as to what they can do with those traumas. They can become bitter or they can become better. We're going through them. I have an 8 in my chart, so I trust me, I know all about it. We're going to go through it. There is no getting out of it. You know what I mean? We got to go through it. But if we choose the right thing with our numbers, and this is why I feel like everybody should know about their numbers, because you do have free will. You do have choice in how to make that trauma work for you and not destroy you, right? And I love your chart, Carolyn, because the 8 can be, every number has shadow and light to it, right? It has good and it has not so good. And the 8, I'm not going to lie, it's one of those that has a lot of shadow to it. And the reason being is because it is so powerful.
Wow.
When you have the most powerful number, there's going to be a lot of negative energy that wants to attach to that for the purpose of control and domination and money and all of that, right? So you're going to generally find that with that, that's why the 8 has a lot of those powerful attributes, right? And why it can get in so much trouble. If you look at the shape of the 8, it's like an infinity symbol. Power, money, karma. What you put in, you get out, right? Or 2 balls right on top of each other. And, as we said before, if you look at the physical makeup of a number, it will tell you so much about the attributes of the number. So the 8 is nothing but whimsical round, right? If you were to knock it against the wall, it's going to bounce back off. If you were to drop the 8 physically, it's going to bounce back quicker and higher than anybody else because it is the most resilient number. And it has to be because the 8 was made for trauma, right?
Yeah.
So the good thing is with an 8, and I always tell 8s, you, with an unwise decision, can crash and burn headfirst into the ground. However, even if you do that, if you mess up and do that, you're the most resilient number that there is. So you're going to bounce back quicker and higher and faster than anybody else. And it's just the bounce back game is ridiculous for the 8. It's almost like they're the people that, okay, so remember, I talked to you before about how I call the 8 Kanye Omari West. And that is because Kanye is a high 8. He's an amplified 8. He's an 11-8. So he's, 88. Des Bryant 8. You know what I mean? Like that sort of super dynamic, super in your face, just doesn't care, is going to be bold and brash and beautiful and wilding out all sides, right? So even with that Kanye energy, even with that, the 8 is, look at what he went through a few years ago. He was like, he was telling people, "Oh, I'm broke, and will you donate or whatever?" And then just a couple years afterwards, he's a billionaire again,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Like
he bounced back.
Exactly, that bounce back is like retarded. Like you just can't even like you don't see people do things like that, and it's because of the fact that 8s are that. And then he's an amplified 8. Oh, he's bouncing back just stupid,
And he has every time. Yeah, he has every time. So interesting.
Right. And this is another reason when I told you guys before, like, I'm surprised I don't see that in Trump's. I'm surprised I don't see it. And I don't even think it was in Biden's or any of the Clintons ones either. And that 8 should be there. I feel like that 8 should be there with theirs. But it's not. So, but like I said, I learned through each of the readings. They tell me a little bit more, and what certain combinations, like I said, that 5 and the 7 together is almost comparable to that regular 8 without the trauma. So it can be beautiful like that. But continuing on with your birthday number, we talked a little bit about how the birthday number is your everyday energy, right? So your life path number is the destination energy, okay, your purpose, why you're here. And a lot of times, most of us won't exhibit those attributes until maybe the latter half of our lives, right? Whereas our birthday number, our birthday energy, that's the parts of us that stay the same from birth until death. They never change, and they go in to support that overall destination life path energy. So you have the perfect birthday number for your life path, which is the number 3. The 3 is the creative child. So if you have ever met a little baby and you're like, yeah, you've been here before, little one, in somebody else's body, and it's just an old soul that you see in that baby, like that is the energy of the 3, just an old soul that's been reincarnated, that's back to bring wisdom and calmness and peace and fun and youth and creativity. Bigger than anything is the creativity, because the 3 is the creative child. So divine gifting, and 3s are a lot of times musically inclined. 3s and 33s are a lot of times musically inclined, but creative one way or another. And so if you look at the shape of the 3 once again, that 3 is going to completely cuff the 8. And it's going to keep it from wilding out all sides. You know what I mean? Because that 8 is trying to wild out, throw bows in the club,
Yes,
and that 3 is like, no, hey, you are going home tonight. We're not going to jail, right? So that 3 is a perfect pairing for the 8, very much the best protection number that you can have for that 8, which means that the lighter attributes of the 8, the power, the money, the resilience, the alchemy, the manifestation and influence are going to be more prominent. They can be more prominent because we've got the trauma and the toxicity at bay or held off from even manifesting at all because of that protective 3, so really,
that makes sense.
Good pairing with that.
Good.
So then we move on to your expression number. Now, your expression number is how and why you do things, right? Based upon your numbers, experiences, environmental factors, so on and so forth. And yours is the 1. That's the male dominant 1. Um, so that is the father in the cardinals, the male dominant 1. So very, very, it's a leader. It's one of the leadership numbers. The 1, the 4, and the 7 are leadership numbers. And again, if you look at the shapes of them, very hard lines, very stiff, rigid. So these are more intolerant type attributes, but that's what leaders need. They need to be able to put their foot down and be a stick in the mud sometimes, because you got to lead the people and people will try to push you around. So there's a side to you, Carolyn, in the way that you do things, the way that you operate as yourself. Like you're not afraid to put your foot down with something. You're not afraid to take a stand. You're not afraid to blaze your own path. You know, the 1 is the one and only, the 1 in a million, you know, once in a lifetime. So the way that you do things is very unique. I know you guys already know one of my favorite words is weirdo. Like I love weird people. It's not the same that what most people mean by weird. No, it's like it's a beautiful thing. It's uniqueness. It's
I'm laughing at Carolyn just based.
Yeah, why are you laughing?
Because hey, you want to be on the podcast? Okay, and then a week later, I'm leaving Sacramento though, and I'm like, what? You're leaving? Yeah, just gonna go with my friend and find a job and figure it out.
But it still worked out.
Yeah, it always works. That's what she's saying. It works
here.
out for you, exactly. Yeah, that's crazy.
But no, that definitely doing my own thing. Yeah, that definitely. It's definitely true.
Yeah. And
or doing things my own way.
Exactly.
One of the things I like to say about the 1 is that it's very much a my way or the highway type attitude with a lot of things. This is my life. You don't pay my bills. You know what I mean? Like, I love you, but I'm going to do me, you know, like I'm going to blaze a path. And just being that way, that's automatically, it's like, I always think of like Jerry Maguire. I'm not going to freak out, do what everybody thinks I'm going to do, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. And then he takes off and then people, you know, Renee Zellweger, I think, goes with them. Yeah, like that sort of okay, I'm with the shits and I'm going to go with Jerry Maguire. So that's kind of like a 1, like they don't care what anybody thinks about them. They're going to be themselves and embrace their weirdo and rock with it like nobody else, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So then moving on to your personality number. So I don't like the name personality number in this placement. However, that's what it's called. I like to call it the perception number because it's how we're perceived by the world, by others. May not necessarily be what we are, but it's how we're seen. Okay. So yours is the 2. So what is the 2? The 2 is the Venus. If 1 is the father, the male dominant, the 2 is the loving, nurturing, mother, lover, Venus energy, right? So food may be a love language for you. Either you like to cook or you may interpret.
I like to eat.
Right. So it's like we interpret love through food. Like a home cooked meal is like, oh, you do love me. Okay. Like almost like you know, and then if somebody buys you or if somebody makes, you know, a ribeye steak or shrimp or something that you really like that's like good, like that's a love language too. You're like, you actually care about me because you got me cocktail shrimp. It's a weird how you interpret. 2s are like that. They interpret love through food. So I feel like food in and of itself should be a love language, honestly.
No, it should. That would be a good one. I feel like that's a lot of people's hidden love language.
Top of my list, yeah.
For sure. You know, so yeah, but it's overall your friends, your people see you as like the mother hen in a way. I don't know if like everybody's always over at your house or everybody knows that Carolyn has a, you know, she's got an extra bedroom or a couch to crash on. Like You're never going to throw anybody out. If somebody needs to sleep over or crash for a few days, like, or if they need to be nourished in a way, if they just need to be hugged because they're going through a breakup, you're like, come over, bitch, I got some wine. Like, and I'm not saying it like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, bring it on, come over, I'm going to take care of you, you know? And so that's very much that 2 energy of like, I got you and I'm going to take you under my wing and mother you and nurture you and feed you and nourish you. That's why food is so big with 2s. Make sense?
Yeah, and that's actually another big thing for me. Like, I like to make sure everyone's fed. Like, even if someone comes to my house and I've never even met them before, like someone brings them over, I'm going to make sure they're okay. Like, they've been fed and they're not hungry. And yeah, that's a big thing for me.
That's like that.
Yeah, that's how I was raised. You know, my mom was always like, everyone should have a full stomach. And, you know, it's really important just to make sure everyone's fed and taken care of. So, yeah,
it
that's
is
a big
true.
one.
It is true. And like, some of my best friends and favorite people in life are 22s. Like, I just naturally gravitate to 22s and they gravitate to me. And so even though I have no 2 in my chart, I so resonate with them. I think it's my life path 4, which is good with the 2, but it's really like they're just another level of loving. And every 22 that I've known is like, they've got yummy food in their house and they've got like the kids, friends are over doing their homework or playing soccer. Like, that's the 2 and the 22's home is where the kids are, you know, on the neighborhood.
Yeah, super welcoming.
Yeah. Yeah. So that sort of energy. And then like, a lot of times too, well, because they're that support, they're made to be that support. Look at the shape of the 2 once again, right? You got the 1, you got the 2. If the 1 falls over, what's the 2 do? It's already built to push it back up. Do you see that?
Huh. Yeah, it's interesting.
Like almost like on a spring like ledge or something. So the 2 is super, super supportive. And if somebody comes to the 2 and they're just like, oh my God, he broke up with me or what have you. And it's like, you'll clear your schedule to be there to just nurture somebody because you kind of know that they need to be under your wing for a minute, you know? So yeah, the 2s are just their love. That's a lot of love. Now, if we want to talk a little bit about, because every number has, like we said, shadow and light. The 2 is mostly light. The one area where I came into issue with 2, and I'm gonna go there.
Dun, dun,
dun. When I did JRBs several years ago, when I did Trump's, he's an 11 too. So he was born on November 20th. And so that 2 and that reading was
a bad 2.
I like to sniff. Yeah, that sort of I'm just very lovey, touchy on people that I should not be.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Like a hair sniffing kind of thing?
Yes.
Wow.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So even though we have that love number, do you see what I'm saying? How
it can be like too far,
Yes.
like where you're too touching people when they don't want you to and stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's the only time that the 2 kind of stood out to me as like, back up, hold on, like, give me some space here. But other than that, the 2 is just it's a beautiful, wonderful number, and it's truly love. So you are seen as love. Your friends see you, your people see you as love, and they come to you for love, and they know that you're gonna give them that nurturing. So now my favorite part of your chart is this, and what I love is that it's applicable in not only just Carolyn's chart, but it's also applicable in Amy's chart too, which is just huge for me because she has the 2 ones and it worked out both ways. So I love it, love it. And that is the fact that your heart's desire number is also the 8, right? So you have the same number as your life path for your heart's desire. Your heart's desire is literally what it sounds like. It's what you want out of life. It's your soul urge. So you're literally, it's 1101, you're literally living and loving your purpose, right? And even if you're not like completely accomplished with it or even halfway accomplished with it, you're still a young person. You still got a lot to go with your, you know, your purpose. However, there is a part of this that allows you to feel like you are right on time and there's no rush with it. And you are content in where you are on your journey. And it's like everything is it's supposed to be happening right now as it's happening. There's no rush in this, and there is no, regardless of what societal norms are and what they say about what age you should get married and have kids and go to college and this and that, like, screw society. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as far as like people, but as far as like societal norms and those kind of weird expectations,
rules and stuff.
Exactly.
Who
It's
needs
like
rules?
I have
That's what
my
I
own,
say.
you know, rules are made to be broken. That's,
Exactly.
I want to live my life the way I want to live it. And so there's something about your chart that says that you are very much on your way and you're exactly where you need to be, and there's no like rush in it. You know what I mean?
Does a heart's desire 8 tell you what my heart's desire is, or does it just tell you kind of where I'm at?
It's a great question. In this placement, first of all, the 8 in a life path is going to be different from the 8 in your heart's desire, right? The 8 in the life path is a big thing of yeah, I'm going to take a lot of trauma. It's part of my purpose to take that trauma, but it also may be part of my purpose to be super resilient and super wealthy, you know, and have a ton of influence. The 8 heart's desire, in this regard, because you have a life path 8, it connects back to that 8 and just it solidifies that. And what I sense with this is you do want to have money and power, but it's more so for influence, right? You want to have influence. It's not a money hungry 8 like it would be if it had no 8 as the life path. The heart's desire 8 in this specific chart is, and there's nothing wrong with wanting money, by the way. I'm just letting everybody know. It just can't be the love of money. You know what I mean?
Like
it's
a greedy, gluttony. Yeah.
Exactly. So in this placement, to me, it feels like it feels like there's the influence mainly with success. Yeah. With success. But the big thing with this that I get overwhelming is the fact that you are on your way. Now, sometimes I doodle and sometimes things come up. And so I'm not sure. I feel like, is that a peacock feather? Do you like peacocks?
Interesting.
Do I?
Yeah. Is there something?
I like them as much as anybody likes them.
Right.
Like peacocks.
Not a specific thing
like
with peacocks. Or does somebody have peacock feathers somewhere that you know about, like at your mom's house? Or do you have it at, like, it looks like a peacock feather to me. That's what came to me.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, my mom has a big painting of a peacock in her living room.
Okay.
Are you serious or are you just saying that?
Yeah. No, she does. I could take a picture of it next time I see her.
A special painting for her?
Funny.
Interesting.
So, like,
yeah, maybe. She's had it forever.
Wow. I was going to say you watched NBC, but.
NBC.
Hell no.
So it's just, that's the first thing that I thought of was a peacock feather.
I don't see a peacock feather. Wait.
So right here. It's just my little symbol. Like
okay, kind of.
it may not be a peacock feather, but that's what the word that
That's
came.
what you see.
Peacock. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Huh.
So in that sort of case where that happens,
You should ask your mom about that painting, the background of that painting.
Yeah, maybe it's really special and has significance to her.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she likes peacocks.
What's her birthday? Do you want to say? Do you want to?
Yeah, that's it's January. Actually, it just happened. It's January 19th, 1968. And she loves this kind of stuff. So if you ever have time and you want to do a reading for her, I mean,
I'm about to
she
do
would
a little
love
mini,
that.
little mini right now.
Oh, that'd be a great birthday gift.
Okay, let me do this. Let's see here.
Yeah, I had to give her a special birthday shout out because she always loves everything we put out.
Oh yeah, I never even did that.
Are you serious?
Mom, this one's for you. Happy birthday.
Wow.
Well, not on the show. What does that mean? 35.
What's 3 plus 5?
8.
She's a life path 8.
She's an 8 too. Oh,
yeah. So she's a life path 8 and she's a 35-8. So what this tells me is with regards to your heart's desire. that she is living vicariously through you in a good way, like pride wise.
Okay.
And like she can feel the energy of your happiness and she's also she's more powerful in her energy of support for you than you realize.
No, that makes everything you just said makes perfect sense. She's always told me because you know, she moved here from a different country when I was born and she didn't know anybody. And she was, you know, a first-time mom, stay-at-home mom with me as a baby. And I was a really, really happy child. I've just always been like that. And so she's always telling me that, like, oh, I'm so glad that, you know, you were my first kid because you brought so much light and happiness and blah, blah, blah. And also the support thing. She's my biggest supporter. She's always just been nothing but supportive. So yeah, everything you just make that I'm almost gonna cry. Like seriously, that makes perfect sense.
I love it. Well, tell her God bless and like send lots of love to her and you know.
Yeah, she's gonna love this. Thank you.
She's welcome to.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Carolyn's mom.
She's definitely gonna listen to this too. So
yeah. You have to come on the show.
Yeah.
I know she's nervous about it.
We're still waiting for you, Mom. I know. I don't know why she'll I'll get her on the show. She'll come on the show.
We'll do her whole chart. I'll do her whole chart.
Oh, she would love that. So my mom is Brazilian and she actually they're into the I don't want to compare cultures, but in Brazil they're very Catholic, but at the same time they're into different things like astrology and you know magic and stuff like that. And so she knows a guy in Brazil who's actually like kind of a famous astrologer, and he did this, you know, this massive chart for her and told her things about me and her. And he was very accurate. I mean, and he told her things. It's just crazy. So she would love this. She loves this kind of stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's 11:10 right here, right now. So, Daddy,
hi, Big Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. For sure. Okay, so any questions with regards to your charts at all? Like, anything you want to clarify?
Not specifically about my chart. I'm probably going to do a little more research, you know, later about these numbers for myself. But I did want to mention, I think I already told you about this in part 1, but I just can't believe that you've never looked into Enneagram. I think that you should definitely look into it, because a lot of what you're saying with the numbers you're giving me is kind of, it's almost like Enneagram. I think I told you about it last time, but it's like a personality typing system, and it goes 1 through 9, and you have like your base personality is like either 1 through 9.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because in the Enneagram system, like number 1 is the reformer, and then number 2 is the helper. And then also, like how you were saying, each number has light and dark aspects. You could be a personality type 4, but depending on like your mental health and where you are in life, and all these different things, it's like 2 people can both be a type 4 personality, but depending on circumstances and what's going on with them, they can, it can come out in a completely different way. So it's really interesting. I think you could even use it in your readings, if you.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you'd like it.
Into it. Yeah, I'm going to look into it. It sounds very much along the lines. I learned about it a couple of years ago from one of my training managers.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of it.
And she was going to do it, and she just never got around to coming back down to do it for me. But yeah, I'll look into it for sure. I'm sure I'll probably be able to pick it up fairly quickly.
You would. So. Yeah, I think it would just click for you. When we get off, I have actually this really incredible book about it. So I'll send you a picture of it, so maybe you could look into it. But anyways.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Cool. All righty. So we've got Miss Carolyn's chart done. And Miss Amy, here we go. Now this one right here.
Oh,
I'm excited.
That's so funny.
Yeah, me too. Miss Amy. Okay, because first and foremost, let's just go ahead and start it out the gate. We have your life path number, which is a 314. I myself am a 314. And it is an amazing life path to be. And it's very different from a 13-4, which is actually your heart's desire number. So just like Carolyn was just talking about how like the same number can mean something different for a different person, it can mean something different in a different placement too, right? So let's talk about the 4. The 4 is the builder, right? So you have the 1 is the male dominant father, 2 is the mother, 3 is the creative child, 4 is the house in which they live in. So it's the builder, right? Donald Trump, everybody's familiar with him. He is a life path 314, as is Kim Kardashian, as is Dak Prescott. And I mentioned these people, always Trump and Kim Kardashian specifically when I talk about life paths, because their lives are really great examples of how that energy generally works out for most of us. Unless you have a life path 4 and a birthday 4, you're probably going to be exhibiting most of the attributes in the latter half of your life, right? And we see this in both Trump and Kim Kardashian's life, because look at, Trump's, empire was built upon building. He was the real estate mogul, right? And then in his latter years, he got into politics, which is the justice side of the 4, because that's the other big attribute of the 4, right? So then we also see that in Kim Kardashian's life. She's of the sisters, she's the main brand builder, or has been, still to this day pushing Skims and makeup and et cetera, et cetera. And then we see after her, she turned 40, she starts, dealing with the prison reform programs, helping people to be pardoned, and then working with Ye and Trump to, get that stuff done, and then Van Jones to become a lawyer. So we see that justice side of her 4 becoming far more prominent as she has, reached that and passed that midterm part of her life. So what this means for you, Miss Amy, is you've always been a builder, and you'll continue to be a builder. And the 4 is also one of the leadership numbers, right? It's not the weirdo 1, It is the leader of the people, right? So you kick that 4 over. Once again, the physical attributes of what they're going to do. It's like almost like a corral, right? You are telling people which way to go in the right way and not to veer out on all sides. So a lot of attributes of high 4s are like OCD clean. Everything organized in its place where it's supposed to be. Do things right the first time, genius, or so you don't have to do it again. Like intolerant. I'm a
That
life
is
path
so
Scorpio.
me.
Yes. It's like, why do I even have to tell you this? You are not dumb and you're making me mad for having to correct you on this. Do it right the first time.
Wait, were you in my house yesterday?
That's a 4.
That doesn't seem. Are you really like that, Amy?
Maybe.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
About my cleaning, I am. Yup.
Okay, about certain
No,
things.
she told me one time,
Yeah.
don't piss me off or don't make me mad. And I was like, okay.
I did not.
Yeah, we were
say
talking
it
about.
like that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was, but it was in the reference of you don't want to see that side of you. So,
Oh well.
so,
Yeah.
it
I said
was,
it very nicely.
exactly.
Want to anger the
Yes.
anger the dragon.
That's interesting.
But
That's
look,
so
the
funny.
attributes of the 4. There's the 4. Yeah, so the 4 can be, it is very Taurian energy. The 4 is very Taurian energy because it's that master builder. You know what I mean? And the Taurus is very hardworking, steady, dependable, rock solid, loyal. So there's a lot of those attributes in the 4 automatically. And that strong suit, that's the house, that's the structure, right? For the people. It's not the weirdo 1 that's just going to be a stick in the mud or go blaze their own path and be a leader. And they're amazing leaders in that regard. It is the 4 because somebody needs to lead the people. The 1 is off in the freaking woods blazing a path. They don't care behind them. They're not going to keep everybody in line. They're just going to lead, right? The 4 is going to make sure that everything is in line. Everyone is in line in their place where they're supposed to be. And don't get out of line. Don't get out of line. Bobby, I know you've seen a lot of my social media on Facebook more so. And girls, I'd be wilding out on
Yes.
Facebook. Kind of like, it's my like most shadow banned page. So I like use it for my venting. And then I'm a lot nicer on my Instagram.
That's smart. That's just smart.
That's funny.
I just need somewhere to speak and say
Let it out.
Yes. They drive me crazy. Anyways, so with that being said, that's a lot of my 4 coming out, Bobby. That's a lot of my I don't care about your feelings right now. I could use some 9 and some 2 in my life because I'm callous sometimes with it. Like so like intolerant of bullshit anymore. And I can be very judgmental with it and I can be very critical. And I need to learn how to infuse a little bit more understanding and love with a lot of it. Not all of it. Some of the BS in my DMs deserves it. But not everybody. I need to realize that a lot of times not everybody can understand it at my level. Number 1, it's not a me thing. It's just what the gift I was given.
Yeah.
And even if they do understand it to some degree, they don't necessarily deserve to be to get that energy from me of like my 4 energy, my intolerance, my judgment, my criticism. Even though it's coming from a place where I just want it to be excellent. I want you to be excellent because I believe that you can be excellent. You're not this lower standard that you're allowing yourself to operate at. That's 4, right? So there's a big part of you, Amy, that is an encourager too. That's a builder, upper, a lifter, and that even when you have that intolerance or when you correct, it may seem rigid in certain ways, but what they don't realize is that, with your birthday number, which we'll go into here in a moment, your brain is everywhere. And it's a struggle for you to manage and compartmentalize a lot of those racing thoughts in your head all the time. And this is a big part of that frustration because you're like, doggone it, I need to get this stuff compartmentalized. Blah, blah, blah. So you're always trying to do that in your own head and then trying to organize and manage everything else in life or other people, which can be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Super, super overwhelming. So you got to give yourself credit for that, first of all. And you have to understand that. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into your birthday number right now because it's relevant. Your birthday 5, right? You're born on the 14th. So this is the 5. Now, what is the 5? The 5 is vacations. It's travel. It's change. It's energy. It's joy. It is, it's beauty. It's mass appeal. It's pizza for dinner instead of a home cooked meal. It is ice cream. It's the pleasures in life. It is pleasure. It's indulgence. Look at that fat belly of that 5. That 5 is pleasure, you know? So like, and that's why when the 5 and the 8 get together, it's overindulgence. It is addictions. It's that sort of bad toxicity, right? Best friends having fun. But again, we're going to jail and it's 11:22. So, yeah. So we want to stay out of jail as much as possible, right?
No
So
8s for me.
I would say this, like Carolyn's 8. Carolyn's a high 8. And so we'll
8s are not bad.
It's the placement of it. It's the placement of it.
And the other numbers.
Yes. She's got a 3. She's got a 3 in her chart. Her birthday is 3. So where your 5 is, that's where her 3 is. So that is not the 8-5 right there. You know what I mean? It's almost like if the 3 is the neutralizer and the balancer between the 5 and the 8, because what's the difference between 5 and 8 is 3. What is the protection number for the 8? The 3. So that's why the 5 and the 8 don't go well together, right? So it's like that neutralizer and that one party, the innocent 5. Not that Carolyn is the instigator, but 8s can be the instigators. They can be the bad influence, right? And the 5s a lot of times are because they're wanting to spread joy, and a lot of times can overcommit themselves because they're wanting to spread joy, make everybody happy. And in doing that, the 8 is that influencer. Oh, 5, come on, sister 5, let's go. We're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. I know a dude there. Like that sort of that.
Nice.
But it's, you know what I mean? So there,
Yeah.
if you, that 3 is going to be like, first of all, Uncle 8, put your drink down. You're not having anything else to drink.
You're cut off.
You're cut off. Aunt 5 has this big show tomorrow because she's so beautiful and she's got this mass appeal, and we need to and I'm going to make sure that we're all protected and she's not going to jail, nor are you. Get in the car and we're going home. Like that's what the 3 is going to do, right?
But
so
5 with an 8, the 5 will kind of just go along with the 8's bad influence, and that's why.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes. So there was a case of a missing woman that I did some work on a few years ago, whose little boy was found walking by himself in a apartment parking lot in Miramar, Florida, a few years ago. They still have not found her. And I did readings on all of this, you know what I mean? And what I came to find was the person, and I'm testing your knowledge of what we've learned so far, okay? The person that ended up being a very, very evil man, very, very high level witch and doing evil stuff. He was a life path 8 with a heart's desire of 5. She was a life path 5 with a heart's desire of 8. Okay? The 2 worst, most volatile combinations. And they just, and that 5 does not expect that 8 to be so crazy sometimes. And that 5 can't manage that 8. The 5 is just too much joy and wanting to spread joy. They don't, as a man thinketh, so is he. That's a proverb. If you are not the type of person that's getting over on other people, you're not going to expect that from other people. Therefore, I'm not going to think that other people are trying to screw me over because I don't screw other people over like that, right? And vice versa. And that 5 is not expecting it from the 8. And that's why it can be such a volatile combination. And it was for them. He's now, in prison. They still haven't found her, and I don't think that they ever will, based upon my reading, unfortunately. But
That is so sad.
it was extremely sad. It's still extremely sad, and I still sometimes want to do work on it, but we'll see what the fates, decide.
Can I ask you about that? When you did that reading, was he already in jail before you had done that reading? Oh, wow. So he got arrested later.
He got arrested later. And even with the information that I've given you, people can look it up on their own and find out what case it is. That's fine.
Yeah.
When I did the reading, there was a vision that I had of a tall young man with curly, kind of fuzzy hair out, and like a basketball outfit on, long white tee, red shorts, and black and red sneakers. And it was very prominent, and I knew instinctively that he had something to do with not her, what happened to her, but what happened to her afterwards and why we can't find her. He helped. Wow. And so the one who did it posted a long rant on Facebook like less than a week later, because of course the police were asking him questions, and he's like, I'm the one that told that. He was very cocky about it. Yeah. Meanwhile, they found he was using her credit card. They seen him on video with her truck. So many things, right? And this person, this young man that I saw in the vision, I want to say, and I don't recall specifically, a lot of times when I do readings, especially for the actual numbers, I will forget a lot of it. And this is why I always encourage people to allow me to record the sessions for them, because you'll see stuff later and then I'll see stuff later too. I don't remember it. It's a natural clearing process, right? So I don't know. My immediate thoughts go to, I went to his Facebook page and did some surfing. I think that's how it happened, because I found this person in the outfit that I saw them in.
Oh, wow.
And so I tried to friend request them, and I saw that they had a twin sibling. And I friended the twin sibling. The twin sibling is still friends with me on Facebook. And I have explained to them the truth of the situation, to the point of like, I don't know, because the twin, years after I initially DM'd him saying, hey, can I talk to you? Blah, blah, blah. He never got back to me until, I want to say, like 2 months ago. And he was like, where's my brother? And I said, I don't know. That's why I'm getting in touch with you. So ever since that happened several years ago, his brother went missing.
That's so weird.
Yeah. And I feel like he's out there somewhere, but he
is he in hiding?
That's what I think.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and my heart goes out to this guy, this young man, because he misses his twin. My heart goes out to the family of this young woman, because I can't even imagine not being able to at least have closure of what happened,
Man.
See, when stuff like that happens, in my mind, automatically, I guess, as a parent, go to the fact that, they might have a little bit of closure. That's why the person can't be found. So sometimes, people take law into their own hands. So hopefully it all works out.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot with that. Yeah, we'll see. But I know this much. As hard as it is to believe sometimes, everything in life happens for a reason. I know that. I believe it with everything in me. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's like, why would these weird things happen? Why would they happen? And that doesn't make sense. It's evil and it's awful. And how do you tell that to parents who,
Yeah.
um,
Not going to
and
make them feel better.
right. But
Mhm.
in the end, it all comes out in the wash. And everybody, just like the NDE episode that I did on the whole podcast, he said, you're going to have your life review. And the main things that he said were be good to people and be good to the animals, because his dog was in his life review right there next to him the whole time.
Wow.
His dog from when he was a kid. So it's so important that we do try to be good to people. And I'm giving myself that advice because I can be a hose beast sometimes,
Mhm.
It's hard to be an empath and channel a lot of the crazy energy that goes on in this world with people and not let it affect me. It's how I channel it. It's how I express it,
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, okay. I'm not sure why that came, but I felt like it was appropriate to talk about that a little bit.
Mhm.
So we talked about your 5, Amy, a little bit. The general information of the 5 is it is a ton of energy, right? Loves to spread joy. It's like sunshine. It's like orange yellow to me in color, right? It's beautiful. Jelly Roll is a Life Path 5. DJ Khaled and Beyonce is a birthday 5. So we see beauty and mass appeal in different ways, very different ways with these people, but we see it, So that sort of a thing. Also 5s, because they are change and travel and a lot of energy, they can't sit still for 5 minutes. So there's probably these things where you're just constantly going. You feel like nothing's ever done. And this is the big part of in your mind. What I'm talking about is like your mind's constantly going all the time. And because it's right next to the 4, your life path 4, those subsequent numbers are contrast. So we talked about the 4 being the builder, the home that the family lives in, right? Well, the 5 is the vacation. Okay, home, travel, vacations. You've got the roots. I need roots, but I want to travel and have new stimulation and change all the time. So there's this kind of contrast in you, or where it always feels like I love my home. I want to establish roots somewhere. I need that stability, that Taurian, energy. But I also want to be free spirited. I gotta go, 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 go. So there's a constant pull in you like that. And these are your life path and birth date numbers. You're not changing them. They're not changing. You can't change a birthday. So you got to learn how to work with them, right? Because there's always going to be like that pull and that contrast inside of you. Learn to understand that 5 that needs new stimulation, that 5 that needs that constant energy flowing through them in some way, shape, or form. There's a reason for that, because a lot of numbers, especially numbers like 4, they're kind of more stagnant. So we need the energy of that 5 for dynamics, I would suggest to allow into your world and your experience things that allow you to have that the extra stimulation, right? That travel, new fun stuff every day that you got to work out, and just that sort of vibe. Does that make sense?
No, that makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, I do find that, that's actually pretty accurate. Do need like a lot of new stimulation. Like I find that I get bored very easily.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that you mentioned that. That definitely does resonate with me. Yeah.
And another thing that I like to say with 5s, and especially because I know that you're married, if you want, this is my gift to you. I'm happy to do a compatibility with your husband if you want, because I do think that it is important that partners of 5s understand this is not anything that's wrong with them. They are created this way for a reason, and you need to learn how to be stimulative for them. You need to realize that she needs new stimulation constantly, or it may cause a problem.
That's
And
interesting.
if they know this is why I like to work with couples like that. If that you may like your husband or love him or have fallen in love with him because of the fact that, oh, he's so calm with this, and it seems like he's got this, his structure, and he's maybe more quiet and more maybe opposite attract type of thing. And he may be like, why can't she sit down? Like that sort of a thing, where he's like, what, why can you've been going since 4 a.m. Like, aren't you tired? Like that sort of and where it feels like maybe he doesn't get it. I want couples to understand this. Like, don't try to change her. This is not something that even should be changed.
Mhm.
You need to learn how to embrace it and how to work with it so that it benefits you as well as y'all's relationship and benefits her too. That could be, if that's in the travel, okay, not one vacation a year. We need to take 4 vacations a year. I need that much travel in my life. Or if it's spicing it up in the bedroom type thing, or if it's I want to have, certain types of meals. I don't want to cook most of the time. Like I want to, whatever the case may be, like it's everything in moderation for 5s and 8s, no matter what, because you do have the propensity to have addictions and vices. But with the 5 specifically, it's okay to get that stimulation. That's what gives you your passion. It's what gives you your juice and what keeps you going to be that energizer bunny, because that energy is going to be used in other ways, right? So it's all about you, Amy, figuring out, how do I get all this extra energy that's making me crazy inside of it, because my 4 wants to organize it. My 4 wants to compartmentalize it. Doggone it, why can't I get one thought to stop? So to be able to embrace that and say, okay, I'm having what do I need to do? I need to write down in my journal right now all my thoughts that are coming to me just as quickly as you can, and see what manifests in that way, and different tools and processes that you can use to really kind of help you with that and embrace it instead of fighting it all the time. Because that's a big contrast, honey. That's a big contrast of that 5 and that 4 together. But it's still purpose, and it still can be beautiful, and it still can be amazing, and you can be happy and rewarded in your life. You know what I mean? So just know that. I just felt compelled to go into that.
It's time for a commercial break. We'll be right back. Introducing Popcorn Remix, the ultimate snack for late night cravings and podcast sessions with Bobby at Strange Darkness Radio. Escape the guilt of sinful snacks with this sweet or savory treat that transforms familiar flavors into popcorn delights. Indulge in the tempting variety, from Charlene's banana puddings to lemon cake, savory lemon and pepper, and incredible jambalaya, featuring over 50 flavors. Each bite is a mysterious encounter, captivating your taste buds like a shadowy figure in the night. Let the popcorn seduce you with its sinful allure, offering an irresistible guilty pleasure with a healthy twist. It's a burst of excitement reminiscent of Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Popcorn Remix is the popcorn experience that keeps you craving more, as if you've danced with shadows in the moonlight. For this delicious adventure, contact them at info@popcornremix.com or call 678-806-5855. So go to www.popcornremix.com to have a remix in flavors. Now let's get back to Strange Darkness Radio.
Yeah, so we are now at the point where we're talking about your expression number. And so, as we said before, this is how you do things in life, like how and why you do things based upon your numbers, your experiences, environmental factors, so on and so forth, right? And this is where it gets funny for me, because we got big dynamic numbers here, right? And what I want to say is that, that 5 that we talked about before, which is the life of the party, is so there's a conversation coming into my head. And it's a conversation, maybe it was with you and your significant other or not. Maybe it's a make-believe conversation. There's just an energy and a conversation that is like, do you understand? Like I used to be like I was that girl. Like I was the life of the party, and I was a little bit wild, and I had fun as that 5 because in your single chart, your expression number is 5. So you have that duplication of not only your everyday energy of that wild child, free spirit, wants to spread joy, love, sunshine, right? But now you've got it in your expression number. So this is the coyote ugly chick that dances on the bar. Like this is that, like I am beautiful and I am just free spirited and I know it and I love it and I embrace it and I'm with it. And that was a superpower in a way. Does that make sense? That in a way that it was kind of like your superpower. Like I am so confident in myself when I'm like this, when I am my free spirit, when I am my bird, my free bird. And that changed when we got married. Of course, I mean, obviously, you know what I mean? There's a time to be a fun girl, and then there's a time to, well, you grow up and you get married, you become a wife, and so you have fun with your partner. But there's also something that became very you matured a lot of maturity, a lot of wisdom came into play, and a lot of protection came into play because it went from that 5 to the 7. And the 7 is the third of the leaders within the Cardinals. That is the executive producer, pulling the strings from behind the curtains. So not up front like the 1, like the CEO, not the director of operations like the 4 that all the people are going to. This is the executive producer in the background that most people don't know who it is, who's really running the show, but that's the brilliance behind the show, right? And it's also secrets and it's protection, right? Look at the 7. It's the most protective number. Anything under that roof is going to be protected and shielded, right? But 7 is brilliance. It is strategy. It is precision. It's perfection. So this brings a whole nother level of 4s and 7s like each other because they're both like do things right the first time and everything in its place where it's supposed to be. So there was a part of you, but it's almost kind of like it was good that 5, that extra 5 was there because it's almost like the balance of the extremes, right? I talk about a lot of times there are extreme people in life, right? And I'm not saying any of you are extreme. You're not. I'm talking about the numbers right now. And I'm referencing this to some people. You've got the extremes, right? I'm talking about people that are like, would hurt other people. You know what I mean? Like extremes, hateful views, all of that extremes. Polarizing person. They are a heavyweight on the end of the board. They are a heavyweight on that extreme side of the board. So if there's other heavyweights on the opposite end of the extremes, right? You've got like super pro this, people, super pro that, people that are against, and they're the heavy hitters. They're the big, heavy mama jammas on the end. Those are the extremes, right? That is the 5 and the 7. You've got total fun energy, travel, change, excitement, maybe a little bit of naivety, believing the best in people because you don't do people wrong like other people would have, like some agendas to do people wrong, right? The 7 is completely protection. So there was something that's a massive change from going from a 5 personality to the 7 personality. And so there's a conversation that keeps happening in my head with regards, I don't know if this is a conversation that's already happened, or if it will be, or if it's a vibe. I don't know, but it's coming into my consciousness. And it's basically like, do you realize how much more serious I am, how much more mature I am now? Do you realize what the lengths of the significance of change that I have become in order to be in this partnership, right? I feel like there is, like, in a way you would wish somebody would see that you've changed this much. Because they're still like, why don't you sit down for 5 minutes? And you're like, I just sat down for 45 minutes. I know, but we can't sit down for a couple hours and watch TV. And they don't understand, I can't sit for that long. My tailbone hurts. I got to get up and move around. My legs are getting stiff. Like, in energy, that sort of I got to get up and go, right? Does that make sense at all, as far as like why I'm maybe hearing that or sensing that in a way?
Yeah.
It's okay if it doesn't. You don't have to say.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking back to the other night, like, why can't you sit down and watch a movie with me? And,
Oh, dang.
you know,
That literally
why?
happened? Those words happened?
That happens quite often, actually.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. I literally, it's such a prevalent conversation in my head. Of like, and that's why I feel compelled to like offer that to you, because I want to come to I want to have my girls back and be like, hold on. She can't help it. Like, help her embrace it in this way. And here's some tools for you. And it's beautiful and it's beneficial, because we need sunshine in the world. She's a big light. She's got to be this light, or you don't want to suffocate a light. And that's what the 5 is. It's sunshine. Okay?
Yeah. No, I definitely see what you're saying. And yeah, no, I wasn't sure if you were finished with your reading, but I was gonna like
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I was gonna say, so I did go see the psychic the other day at a psychic fair, and then she had some things to tell me, which I did blow off, but then today, you've told me very, very similar things that she told me about, like, my mind never stopping, and I'm constantly thinking of others, like I need to think about myself for once. And then you talk about the word travel and just basically just needing constant stimulation. She mentioned the word travel. And so it's just funny that a lot of the things that you said came from her, and I wanted to blow off everything she said, like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And she says that to everybody. But then to hear like the same specific comments is just so fascinating to me, because, what I wanted to say was very general. What she said, obviously you didn't say these same things to Carolyn. They're like totally different, the things that you're telling me. So it's very fascinating to me to hear all this, and and it makes me do like another take at kind of taking what both of you had said, and like, oh, okay, then there I think there is something to this, and I need it's very it makes you think, so I appreciate that.
Good. And I can tell you this much. The numbers, psychics may lie, people may lie. The numbers will never lie to you. They're going to tell you the truth every single time. And that's what I love about them most, especially as a Taurian woman who is like, loyalty and honesty is like two of the biggest things for me. Tell me the truth. I don't care how hard it is to hear, like, I want the truth, And that is That is what the numbers do. They can't lie. They're perfect and they're always the same. Like they're just always the same. They have the attributes that they have and that's it, you know? So that's what I love about them.
Yeah.
But, well, so moving on for your
And there's
your
more.
personality number. But wait, there's more.
Uh-oh.
So this is really, really cool because, and I want to tie this back to Carolyn. So your personality number, which I call the perception number, because like, again, it's how people are seen, right? Your personality number is the 3, which is the creative child, right? And this is as you're married personality number. It used to be the 1. It's a very.
Oh wait, Amy's is a 3.
Yeah,
But
mine
it used to be a 1. Oh,
Okay. Oh, I thought you said Carolyn. So
I'm
like
going to tie it back. I'm going to tie it back to Carolyn.
Okay.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
I talk fast sometimes.
Okay.
So we have the 1 as a maiden name for the personality / perception. So that means that people did think that you were very unique, one of a kind, 1 in a million.
Oh.
Weirdo, you know my term for weirdo now.
Yeah.
And then somebody that just wasn't afraid to be alone, do her own thing if she needed to, right? And then that turned into the 3, the creative child. So we got married and somebody became a wise soul in ways, right? Again, major difference from when we were single. There was a whole evolution of Miss Amy when we got married. And there were things that changed fundamentally about you. And they're very extremes. We're talking about extremes, heavy hitters on the ends. And going back to that analogy, you don't want one extreme to get up because then it's going to topple, right? So even though we have those, maybe sometimes they're nasty, hateful people and we don't like them, the world shouldn't have them. If we move them out of the way, we're toppling over. They balance things out in energy. I hate to say it. That's what it is, okay? And I want you to understand this within yourself and your energy, because there were extremes. We went from one heavy side to another heavy side on something, right? Big changes fundamentally from who we were before we got married. And I want to say that I feel like the conversation that I was hearing is like, maybe can I be forthright? Can I just speak? Should I keep it a little like, I want to know how I can do this. Like, I don't want to say too much, and
say it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say it. I may not
We want to
elaborate on anything,
Right.
but yeah, you can say it. Yeah.
Okay. So
sorry, she wasn't really talking to me, Amy.
Yeah, shut up, Carolyn.
I just answered for you.
I'm kidding.
I love that.
I don't want to
That's
get
funny.
spouse banned or anything on the show. No. But go
So
ahead.
remember how I said it's going to tie back into Carolyn? Remember how that was her 3 coming out in that. And then your 3, Carolyn, that you have on your birthday number is attracted to that 3 of her personality now. You guys vibe on that level, right?
Okay.
And so there's, it's almost kind of like that playful side. You guys have a playful side together and you enjoy your playfulness together, right? That's, you have appeal towards each other in that creative, playful way, right? That young child, creative child. But this one here, going back to that conversation, is I feel like you may not feel heard. That's what I'm sensing strongly, is that you want to be heard and you want to be validated.
Who? Which one?
For Amy, for her whole chart. Like there's a, because there was such a big difference, and it's not that people didn't see the big difference. They just don't understand how big of a difference that was, how big of a change that was, how much work was put into becoming who you are now, and what a big sacrifice that was for you. And I feel like there's a part of you that wants to be appreciated for that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That wasn't bad.
Perfect. You always have
Yeah.
That was okay.
Yeah, no, I mean,
a place
who
to
doesn't
speak your
want to be
mind.
heard and validated, right? So, no, yeah, not going to deny that.
Well,
Okay.
I've been telling her to speak up more on the show. So hopefully that
Okay,
happens
once I
moving
start, I'm not
forward.
going to shut up.
It's all good. Okay.
It's all right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So then moving into your heart's desire number, and as we talked about with Miss Carolyn's, it is the same as your life path number. It's a 4. However, it's not a 31-4, it's a 13-4, which is a completely different 4. Yes, we have different 4s.
Mhm.
13 is the karmic number. And so it is bringing forth karma and energy from the past. And this could be a lot of times 13s are neutralizing karma that is not their own or that was not their own, or it could be from a previous life. That's what certain people say.
Mhm.
So, and because it's in both charts, it's like it didn't change when you got married. That's a part of what you are wanting to do is part of your heart wants to stop generational curses or stop generational traits or stop generational dysfunction or stop a generational something from happening, which I very much relate with. Even me and my brother were talking about it today. Like, we're just not going to continue the cycle of dysfunction. And so that's what that 4 is saying to me, and that placement being a 13-4, being in both sides, both parts of the chart, and then just being the 4, such a strong leadership number. That 4 can get stuck in the mud too. I might have a box on my head, but guess what? I could be stuck in the mud too. And I lead people, and you're not going to tell me what to do. And I'm not going to give in to what was before, because a part of what, it's not only my purpose, but I want to do it too. Don't make me want to do it. Don't make me put my passion into it. Don't make me put my heart into it and my feelings, because then it's like there's no way you're going to get me away from my purpose, because it's also my heart's desire,
Mhm.
So, and look at the 4, the 13-4 and the 31-4. It's like changing something around, switching it around. So once again, neutralizing that karma, taking it and switching it around. Okay. So yeah, those are your charts, my loves. Are we doing Bobby's real quick?
No. No, I mean, you can do a little bit of it, I guess, but yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine because
We could do another episode and she could do you, Bobby, because I feel like yours with the I don't want to give any spoilers, but with that 33, when she was explaining it last time, it was actually really interesting, and I feel like that could be a whole segment.
well,
Yeah.
I'm up for whatever, especially after Amy's was just so detailed, and it's like so again, and thank you guys both for even doing this, because
Yeah,
know
for sure.
our guests are the people out there that are listening to your these stories. They may think they're stories. They may think, what is Rothy talking about? Is this factual? Is it not? Is it, hooey stuff and all that, right? But, as you guys take this in and listen to what she's saying, you're like, oh, I feel this. This is, she's really speaking to me, and, so people are hearing, your personal things right now. And so it's not, easy for, people to hear, personal things like that, to divulge them to, our listeners, to the public.
Yeah,
So, I thank you guys for even doing this,
it's great, for sure.
so yeah.
I
Well,
feel like
thank
it's.
you.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Well, yeah, thank you, Rothy.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time to do this for us. And I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Because at the end of the day, it's so funny. Out of Carolyn's, was smooth. once Rothy, once you started going into Amy's, I started having serious technical difficulties. And there are times where I
So
actually
weird.
even
It
cut
happened
out.
last time too.
And then
Yeah.
I came back on, and you guys are still doing your thing, and I had to pause the show and came back on. I'll edit all that stuff out. But it was like on certain parts that you were saying, it was like looking at Amy, she was like making everything go haywire and not really noticing, like, just her, subconsciously. She was like,
I was
Energy.
I don't know
manifesting.
like, okay, I really want you to stop, but I'm gonna keep going. So I just thought that was very interesting. But yeah, we can do a little bit of mine if you want, or we can, save it for another show. Cause again, you're not going anywhere. You're here. So,
I'm here, and it's whatever you guys want to do. I want to give it the attention that it deserves, and I know you all are also wanting to talk about Mr. Ramirez as well.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
guys decide. Am I doing Bobby's? Are we doing Richard or Robert? Which one?
That is so
Bobby, you
funny.
pick.
Only my mom calls me Robert. That is so funny. But no, I'll let you ladies pick. After you guys went through, this, I'll let one of you pick.
Well, do you have like any juicy stuff to talk about, Bobby?
Wow. Hey, after
yeah.
hearing yours, I can't say anything. I'm down for whatever, so it doesn't matter.
Bobby, I have his whole chart right here. And he's got two charts too, because we've got the Bobby Washington, and then we've got the full on, full name with the middle name included. So a lot of the same numbers. Starting out with our life path, which is the Master 33. It's the rarest of all numbers in personal numerology, and the rarest of life paths. You obviously can't even have a birthday 33, because what month has a 33rd day? None of them. So
wow.
literally in your charts, you can only have a 33 in certain places, the life path being one of them. So what is the 33? We talked about the 3 being the creative child, right? So that's that divinely gifted young youth, wise beyond its years, old soul in the baby's body, that was given these creative gifts and talents by the creator and for a very specific purpose. And they've used this wisdom. They've grown up being very nourished in life and being given that automatic, because again, the 3s have that gift ability. Their creativity transmutes negativity and trauma. So the rest of us who are like spaz cases that can't deal with, we don't know what to do, and we freak out and cry, and that sort of a vibe. The 3 is just like, nope, I'm going to go write a song. I'm going to go paint something. And that's how they're going to express their trauma, right? They're going to express their feelings through their creativity and turn bad things into beauty. The 3 is just gifted in a way to be able to do that. So then you have the 33. So the 33 is that young child that has now grown up with this gift, and now they have become the master at it, and they teach others how to be this, right? So I think of a 33, and of course 33 is big in the occult and witchcraft and all of that, because they try to twist things around when, blah, blah, blah. But it's also 33 rungs to Jacob's ladder, 33 vertebrae, 33 to our pineal gland, which is the seat of the soul. Jesus was 33 when he died. All of these references to 33 being the master, right? And it's the master teacher. So I think of people like that. I think of, or even to like Tony Robbins, Mel Robb. Is that her name too? Mel Robbins? Mel, the blonde lady who's like a guru. Anyways, like people who are affecting people and humanity in masses for the better. That's the 33, right? And utilizing their creativity and their skills that they hone, their dynamic, God-given, divine creative skills to transmute that bad energy and to teach others how to do the same. That's the 33. Mr. Miyagi energy, right?
Interesting.
So we probably like to wax on and wax off. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. But I missed that movie. Those were good movies.
I love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Great movie. Okay. Which is great. We're 33 because guess what our birthday number is? It's the lovely, wonderful 8. It is the 8. 8 is
Interesting.
great. Yeah. So, but the wonderful thing in this is that you got the 33 protecting you on both sides, right? Because we already talked about this. And when it comes to the 5, and Mr. Washington, your expression as your full name, your government is a 1, right?
Mhm.
Just like Carolyn's was. So the way that you present yourself in life, the way you do things is very much as a leader, as a father, as that provider, as that protector, as that weirdo, wonderful, one and only, one in a million, right? The very dominant male attributes and energies with that placement of the 1. However, when we go to the Bobby Washington charts, we go to the 5. So your 8 and your 5 are right next to each other in your chart, which is the same for me.
Interesting. Okay.
But you have that 33 protecting your 8 on both sides. You've got 2 3s. You've got 2 of those 8 protection numbers on both sides. You ain't wilding out. So what this tells me is that you make wise decisions, make wise risks. You're not going to make unwise risks. You take a lot of time to sometimes decide on something, or you want to make sure it's the right thing to do. There is a side of the Bobby Washington versus the government, Mr. Washington, that is a bit more fun and a life of the party, right? There's Mr. Washington, which is the 1, and that is dad, that we're not playing with him. We're not going to piss dad off because he's got that wall there and he's not afraid to get weird on us. So we're not going to play with dad, right? But when dad is doing his music, when dad is in the studio, we know he's in his higher vibe. He's in that 5 state. He's in that joyous energy. So that's when we can go in. That's when we should go in and tell dad that maybe we got a C- on our report card, or that. So if the kids are coming in and giving us bad news when we're in the studio, Mr. Washington, be like, listen, put a sign outside. You are not allowed to bring my vibe down in this studio. Don't tell me about your grades in this studio. Don't tell me about that you scuffed the tire and now we need a new tire. Don't tell me about that in here. Wait till I get back outside to do dad business, right? Do you notice that? Do they try
for sure.
that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Because they sense it's a change in vibe. Like you're in your element in the studio. You're just happy. You're in your high vibe. So even if drama's going on or something's bringing you down, you don't really care because you're in your high vibe, you know? So they sense that and they're like, yeah, dad's feeling good. Let's go ahead and drop the bad news on him right now because we'll get less of, the pushback on that. So, all right. Now go into your personality number, which again is your perception number, how you are perceived by the world. It's the same in both charts, and it is the 4. Okay? And it's the 4. What this tells me is you're just like, you've naturally been, I don't know what your career has been, but you've probably always been a manager of sorts. I'm a life path 4. I know it. We're the leader of the people. And so I hate it. I hate being a manager. I can't stand it. Like, I don't want to manage grown adult lives, but that's kind of my numbers. I'm a
That
4
is too
1.
funny. Yes.
So like it's just naturally that you a lot of times if you're probably have to be like, I'd rather can I just be one of the workers? I'm not trying to be the boss in here, but there's just a natural tendency. People look to you to lead.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
where that
I
comes
try to
from.
run, but they find me somehow, some way. So very interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. Going to your heart's desire. So, Mr. Washington, this is really, really cool. I like this transition. It's not the same like it was with our ladies, but it's a beautiful story nonetheless, right? So, your heart's desire, as Mr. Washington, your government name, is the six, right?
Mm.
I'm a heart's desire six too. What is the six? We didn't talk about it yet. Nobody's had a six yet, right?
Hmm.
The six is the love of home and family and tradition and rituals.
Yeah.
So you like holidays, you like that whole like festive, you love your traditions. You probably have your daily rituals, but the thing with you is obviously the most important thing in your life is family, and it's the thing that you wanted above all else before you had family. You've always wanted that, and it's always, you'll still have your government name even if you're being called Bobby Washington, you know.
I love
It's
that.
just bringing
Government
more and
name.
different energy into your existing chart.
Yeah.
So you love the hell out of your family. You know that you are purposed in that. And it transitions. This is so cute. You ready? You ready, girls? Like, it's so freaking cute. I can't even stand it. Okay. So he goes from the six. Now look at the shape of the six, right? It's all whimsical, but it's almost like a big cushy chair that you could just fall back into, and it's gonna like embrace you and hug you and be
Mhm.
comfy. You know what I mean? So people who meet Bobby, um, it's automatic family. You feel like automatic family. They just resonate with you like that. And you've probably been told that, you know, a lot in your life, like, man, you just feel like, or you remind me of my uncle, or you remind me of my brother, or you remind me of my dad, or somebody like that.
Yeah.
That's because they relate you to family. So now what's really cute about this is it changes from the six in the Mr. Washington chart to the Bobby Washington chart of one. So you literally want to be the father figure and the weirdo and the leader. You want to stand out while still providing and protecting and leading, but doing it in a very unique way. You don't care to be like anybody else in this regard, as far as your heart's desire in life as Bobby Washington. You are okay to be different. You're okay with helping to blaze and lead while blazing a new path. And it's all for family at the end of the day. And that family is an extended family. We've all heard the saying, you know, blood is thicker than water. That's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not the whole saying at all. You know what I mean? And it's like the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So this means that people who are not even related to you can become so close to you like that, and that you feel protective over, and you feel like you want to lead and you want to be that father figure to them. This also tells me, and then to be mixed with that six like that, do your kids' friends like call you dad?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Wow.
That's sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's and there's a big part of that you love because it's your heart's desire. You're like, damn right, I'm your dad. I'm not a dad already, but like I'm your dad. While you're here in my house, I'm your dad. We're gonna play. I'm gonna teach you this. You're gonna do this. If you gotta, you know, clean and do chores, you're a part of the family. Do chores too, and then we're gonna go play basketball, you know, afterwards or whatever. You're gonna be
Yeah.
that dad figure to them. And that's super, super important, Bobby. I want to, like, that came to my mind for a reason. So that's a super important role that you're playing for some people, okay?
Nice.
That's it.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, well, that was officially my first reading, actually.
Oh my gosh, it
Wow, yours was
was.
so like positive and everything. Mine
Oh,
makes me
yours-
sound like I'm crazy.
No,
No, I'm
no,
so
yours
sorry.
I'm
is
kidding.
You're undercover crazy. An undercover freak.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it's a bright light. It's so bright you can't look at it sometimes. It's sunshine. But
Yeah.
that's that dynamic spreading of energy everywhere. So it can look crazy. It can seem crazy. It can feel crazy. It's not crazy. It's just so dynamic.
You
It's
hear
so
that,
out there.
people? I am not crazy.
That sounds crazy right there, just by you saying that.
That's what a crazy person would say.
Exactly.
No, I loved no, that was amazing about Bobby though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you 100%. You nailed everything. How I am, how I act, what
Wow.
I do. Just everything. When I am in my zone, whether I'm in the studio, whether I'm doing music, whether it's something that I'm working on, and the kids, know exactly when to approach me with certain things and all that stuff. I mean, just pretty much, like I said, you nailed everything. And we've talked, a couple of times. We'll be talking far more as we go forward. But
sure.
I'm glad my kids are grown and doing their own thing now, and all of them are doing well. But yeah, it's just amazing when you hear something that is factual, and a lot of things, I just do. I don't, I'm the type of person, I don't say, how something is or isn't as far as what I'm taking care of or what I'm doing. But I know there are certain values and certain things that I do hold, dear to me, which is family, being, the provider, making sure things are taken care of, making sure, I'm the crazy guy who has the 800 credit score and the, just these crazy wild things, that I always make sure things are done and taken care of. And so I'm just saying you nailed everything. So you guys have to, get a reading done by Rothy, and it's amazing. So,
Those were all really
but yeah,
good. I noticed that
golf clap. I gotta put
Bobby
that in
has a
there.
lot of like really stable numbers. Like even his 8 is surrounded by those 2 3s, but at the same time he's got like the quirky, unique.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like that was very Bobby. And then Amy, what was your personality number again? I can't. Was it a 4?
It was the 1 for her maiden, and it went to the 3, the creative child.
1 and 3. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with Amy, how you present is very different from how you
Yes.
are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know,
Very.
so like how
I
people
have a
perceive
secret
you.
side.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
that's the reason for that. And the reason for that, and tell me if I'm wrong, Amy, this has probably been more prevalent of an attribute or an ability for you since getting married, that you've almost kind of like been able to strengthen your, I don't want to call it a facade, but your serious face. Because it was a lot more of a,
Like you
I
had
don't
to
care
hide
what
your
people-
crazy.
not hide the crazy, but not give as
I'm
much
just
of her
kidding.
dynamic energy out there. A lot of people took her energy, is what I feel like. And she's like, okay, I
So
love
like
getting
protecting.
energy, but now I'm going to be a little bit more cautious as to who I allow to touch my energy and who I give my energy to. And that's where that 7 comes in, and why we're saying we see her and people see her as very different, because that 3 is that creative child, that prankster, fun, loving, happy, laughing, all of that.
And then the 1
Meanwhile,
is like the opposite, right?
right, the 1 is the male dominant leader, but it's also that like weirdo, I'm gonna, blaze my own path and my own trail. The
Mhm.
3 is more of the peacemaker. Let's keep it together.
Mhm.
So there's also a part of her that went from like maybe cutting off people like with a quickness, like before, to I'm going to be more of a mediator now with this, or I'm going to be more of a peacemaker. But that's because I'm protected by that 7 now in her personality.
Mhm.
She's put on a bit more of a hard seriousness to her and her energy, whereas before she was more just happy energy everywhere. And people came in, because it's brightness, it's energy, everybody's attracted to it, right? So she's kind of put a protection around her, right? And that is that seriousness that we may see, but inside she's still that creative child, and she's still that 5 light and energy. And one of the things about this 3 that I forgot to mention that stood out to me is that it looks like a big, sexy, pregnant 3. And it doesn't necessarily mean a physical pregnancy. It could be pregnant with a project, pregnant with a new side of ourself that's coming out, pregnant with a new revelation in our life. Like, so there's something that has been worked on that you're working on, that people see in you that is coming about. There's a revelation and a change with that. With the 3, with your creativity. I don't know if you like music, if you want to do music, if you're into music, if you're feeling like I want to get
Good
creative,
question.
I want to paint, I want to do something creative, like I encourage you to do that. Like it's calling you.
Amy,
Well,
do you have an album coming out anytime soon? What's happening?
well, now that you mention it, no, I'm just
She's
playing.
doing
No.
a collab with Jelly Roll.
Watch out, world! Here I come. I'm on my way.
Are you artsy at all, though? Are you into any of those
I
realms?
I don't find myself very artistic. I mean,
Yeah.
or that creative. I don't know. I mean, I used to draw when I was younger, but I haven't done that for many years. But
What about writing and stuff like that?
yeah, I mean, I don't do it anymore, but when I was younger, like I wanted to be a writer. So that was like a dream of mine. But and then I do think about like maybe writing a book one day. So
How to Become a
maybe
Vampire?
that's the pregnancy that you see.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
it's
really think that pregnancy
maybe.
portion is the show, and you broadening your horizons and open
Yeah.
your, coming up from a moth to a butterfly when it comes to the paranormal and the things that you want to research and find out and the questions
Yeah,
that
like
you have.
following your interests.
No, this has definitely been a great outlet. So I could definitely see that playing into that comment as far as, birthing something new. And yeah.
Any vampires out there, Amy's down to be bitten. So
Yes, email me, please.
Email me.
that email starts with at 555gmail.com.
I think there was another one that was maybe a little inappropriate to say, right, Poppy?
Oh, you mean no.
Yeah. But,
That's funny.
anyhow, I do love vampires, so.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
Well, thank you, Rothy, very, very much. This has been a long and very informative show in readings, and I think the audience will definitely enjoy it. And just everything you were saying was heartfelt, and I believe that just for me, everything was spot on. It wasn't even is she getting this right or getting that right? It was just you were telling me about myself. And I know myself. And so be it good, be it bad, it was just, the information that you were saying just rang true across the board, for me. And even as, you're talking to Amy and Carolyn, all of that as far as a person who knows them. Again, not talking about knows them in so much detail, but just in small nuances. I am a people person and watcher because that's how I experience and learn. And I'm always for everything that you said, I utilize that to watch for those pitfalls and different things. And you were saying a lot of things to me that rang true, even for them. And so I just thought, you did an amazing job. And I love the detailed information. Yeah, it's a long show for sure. People can cut it up. They can listen to it when they want to, go back and forth. But I guarantee you, if you really listen, you will not, be disappointed. And if you get a reading from Rothy, you will not be disappointed. And you will learn a little bit about yourself. And, sometimes, it's the things that we don't ask, because, whoever says when they want to get a reading, oh, how does this play for my spouse or my, mate or my husband or wife or, either or. You just, you want to hear about yourself and get that detailed information, but not knowing that you're with this person, it could have changed you. It could have did something, certain things could have happened that actually make you change as a person, and how you move. So, it is a good idea
That's so
to do,
true.
the couples or your spouse or someone that could be a good, relationship or a bad relationship. And it can just be somebody you just met and, you find out, don't waste your time with that particular person. So who knows? But again, great work. Um, Moving forward, you're going to hear more from Rothy on Strange Darkness Radio. She has her own show. Rothy, give your socials, please.
It's at Rothy Reads Numbers on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And then it's either Rothy Reads Numbers or Rothy's World on all of the social medias. Most of it is Rothy Reads Numbers, but if it's not there, then try Rothy's World and it'll be there. So
Great. That's going to be amazing. I actually changed some of her stuff, and again, not for her socials, but just for the our show. And moving forward with us is going to be Numbers by Rothy, because to me that's what she's going to break down. And for her show, that will be a monthly show on Strange Darkness Radio, and I think it's going to be an amazing asset. And don't be afraid to, call in and ask questions, because all of our stuff is out there. Now you have even more, things that you can gravitate towards, whether you're calling in about UFO experiences, paranormal experience, shadow experiences, possession, whatever's happening in your life, and no one believes you, or you want to, come on and tell your story, you're definitely free to do that. And now, having Rothy on, that's an added benefit to where you can get some answers on why you're haunted. Not saying that she's going to, pick it apart and, be able to break it down for you, but she might be able to steer you in the right direction with what's going on, with your numbers. So again, all of our socials will be on our information at the, whether it's in the show description or at the, end of the show. So yeah. You can give us a call at 916-741-3032. You can hit us up on strangedarknessradio@gmail.com. And don't hesitate. When you leave a voicemail, if 3 minutes is not long enough, you can keep, you can say part 1, part 2, part 3, and I'll string it all together and make it coherent. And again, Rothy, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for adding and being on the show moving forward. And ladies, anything else, Carolyn or Amy?
Yeah. So I agree with what Bobby said. We definitely want to hear from our listeners. We want you to call in with any stories, any personal experiences or questions, or maybe even, show topics. And now that Rothy's joining us, you can either, hit her up on Instagram or email us, or, however you want to contact us. And maybe you can even have a personal reading done if you give Rothy your information. So if you're interested in that, we're leaving you on a cliffhanger once again, because we all want to hear this Richard Ramirez story and we're waiting. So we definitely are going to have Rothy get into that next time on her show with us. So exciting stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, and I've got tons of ghost experiences too, and we talked about Big Daddy and his whole spiritual thing, and we've got so much to get into, team. I'm so honored and happy to be here with you guys, and thank you so much for having me. And so yeah, let's do great things together. Let's get people excited about numbers, and yeah, I'm stoked. So thank you.
Amy, any last words?
Rothy, thank you so much. All the time and energy and effort you put into that. I love your energy. I think you're amazing. And I definitely encourage people to contact you and get a reading. And she's very, very insightful. And I really enjoy having you here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming back and for being part of the show. Going forward.
I do have one cliffhanger that I'm going to leave people with. And you guys wait for this answer. And Rothy, don't answer it, but I'm just going to ask
Okay.
it. What was happening with the stripper pole video? So just don't say anything, but I just have
Tell us
to,
next time.
regardless of
Love
what,
it.
just tell us next time. And yes, stripper pole
Beautiful.
video. Very interesting. All right. We are out. Strange Darkness Radio. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
As your journey through the shadow realms of Strange Darkness Radio concludes, remember that you unlock the door to the paranormal with the key of imagination. Beyond it lies another dimension, a dimension of eerie soundscapes, chilling sights, and the profound depths of the mind. You're venturing into a land of both haunting shadows and tangible substance, where the ethereal meets the corporeal, and ideas take on a spectral form. You've just crossed over into the Strange Darkness Radio Zone. In the vast expanse of the paranormal, there exists a fifth dimension, extending beyond the known realms of our understanding. It is a dimension vast as the cosmos and eternal as infinity, a mysterious terrain between the illumination of light and the depths of shadow. This is the middle ground between the empirical and the supernatural, where fears fester in the pit of humanity's soul and knowledge ascends to its zenith. Welcome to the dimension of imagination, an area we dub the Strange Darkness Radio Zone. As you conclude your journey with us, remember that you're departing this peculiar zone, a place where reality intertwines with the surreal. Be cautious as you step out, for you may find that the boundaries between the normal and the paranormal blur, leaving you forever in the lingering embrace of the unknown. Until next time, farewell from the depths of the Strange Darkness Radio.